Hello everybody and welcome to Now's the Time for my Wrestlemania 31 reaction show with me, Adam, aka Dr. Taco 1982. We got a lot to talk about, so let's get right to it, guys. First two I'm going to go over are the Fatal Fourway tag team match and the Battle Royal. Those were done in the pre-show, still technically WrestleMania, but pre-show. Anyways, Fatal Fourway match. That was between a whole bunch of people. It was the New Day, which was, I believe, Kofi Kingston and Big E versus Los Matadors versus the Usos versus Tyson Kidd and Cesaro. This match was a little chaotic. There really was no control during the match. The ref kind of let them do whatever they wanted to do for the whole match. I'm not even really 100% sure it ended properly because there was a point where Big E was pinned and they didn't count it, and then Cesaro pinned him and they were counting it, so I'm not really even sure the officials even really knew what was going on at that point. But the match was good. It was really good. It was cool seeing everybody flying around doing all sorts of stuff. Coolest moment for me was there was a point in the corner. I can't remember who all it was. I know Cesaro and Big E were on the bottom. There was an electric chair drop / superplex from the top rope from the corner with those two guys doing it. Really super impressive. It was really cool. One of the Usos, I cannot honestly remember because one of them got hurt at the beginning of the match. He went for the splash. Cesaro tagged him right before he leapt. So after he landed the splash, Cesaro came in the ring, pulled him off, pinned rather, and won the match. So Kidd and Cesaro kept their belts, which I was pretty excited about. That's what I wanted to happen. Good. It's good. I like it. It's good. Next one, the Battle Royal. A lot of guys in the ring. A lot of guys. I picked Curtis Axel as my winner. He was the first one out. I was a little disappointed. With this whole Axelmania thing, I was really hoping they were going to toss him a bone, like they've done with Ryback. They've pretty much put Ryback over at this point. That's what I was really hoping with Curtis Axel. I was really hoping they were going to be like, okay, here's your chance to do something. Now, first man thrown out. Everybody ganged up on him and threw him out. Whatever. It's fine. I didn't really think there was a lot of cool stuff that happened in this match. It was very straightforward. Probably the best thing that happened was the breakdown of Miz and Mizdow. I'm assuming Damien Sandow is going to be on his own now, which, that's cool. Big Show won. I didn't think he was going to win. He never wins those things, so I really did not pick him winning it. It came down to Mizdow versus the Big Show. I really thought they were going to be like, okay, here's the big push for Mizdow. We're going to have him toss out, the Big Show somehow, and this is what's really going to put him over since it's been the whole Miz and Mizdow thing has been great. No, they got your hopes up and then just chucked him out of the ring. So, unfortunately, no Mizdow winner, but Big Show won it. Maybe that's just their way of saying, here, congratulations for finally winning a Battle Royal thing, because you never do. Next up, we have the 7-man ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship. Those 7 participants are Daniel Bryan, Dolph Ziggler, Wade Barrett, R-Truth, Stardust, Luke Harper, and, oh my gosh, Dean Ambrose. There we go. Remembered. Top of the head. Got it. This match, pretty dang good. With that many men, kind of like a Money in the Bank match. I think 1 extra man, usually 6 man. It was a pretty good match. I was anticipating R-Truth winning it because they had the random push for him, stealing the belt like Dean Ambrose was and all that stuff. So my prediction was R-Truth was going to win. Didn't win. Did not win. Daniel Bryan actually ended up being the winner. I was happy enough. I'm a Daniel Bryan fan. He's probably my favorite guy, him and Bray Wyatt. Talk about Bray Wyatt later. But, I was pretty excited to see Daniel Bryan win. I'm glad he's the Intercontinental Champion. So he's been, the Heavyweight Champion, the Tag Team Champion, and Intercontinental Champion now? If I'm forgetting anything, just let me know in the comments. I've only been watching recently for the last couple year, so I may have missed one. Anyways, the match itself, pretty good. I liked it. Coolest moment of the match was Luke Harper power bombing Dean Ambrose out of the ring onto a ladder that was set across from the ring to the apron, or not the apron, the barricade. It was set from the ring apron to the barricade. Power bombs Dean Ambrose out of the ring through the ladder, breaks the ladder in half. Pretty cool moment. Doesn't really look like Dean Ambrose ever shook it off from that point, because he looked like he got hurt. I'm sure he's fine, but it looked like it hurt a lot. His body bent in ways that pretty much, your body shouldn't bend that way. It just shouldn't. Your body shouldn't bend like that. But there was a point where it looked like Ziggler was going to win. Both men were at the top. They were headbutting each other. That was Daniel Bryan when I say both men. But they were both at the top, headbutting each other. Daniel Bryan eventually won that contest, knocked Ziggler down, and he took the belt, grabbed the belt. He's the new Intercontinental Champion. And there was kind of a cool segment afterwards with all these other like famous Intercontinental Champions talking to him. Pat Patterson, Ricky Steamboat, who was it? Roddy Piper, Bret Hart. I feel like I forgot somebody. And then also... oh my gosh, Farouk. I'm so terrible. Ron Simmons, thank you. Thank you, Brain. They all came out and like congratulated him. So it was a pretty funny segment after he won the match. So all in all, the ladder match was pretty good. Like I said, not a lot of crazy stuff happened. The craziest thing was that powerbomb through the ladder, and it was tight. Next up, we have Seth Rollins versus Randy Orton. This is a match I wasn't really looking forward to that much. I'm just kind of looking forward to the conclusion of the match, essentially. The storyline was building up to that point of Randy Orton's return. Taking on Seth Rollins, ooh, he's a bad guy. Randy Orton's back, gonna get his revenge. That's what I was basically waiting for. The match was actually pretty dang good. Seth Rollins looked like at points he was going to win it, especially when he kicked out of a couple of RKOs. Orton went for like the corner kick at one point, and Seth got away from it. You didn't really know who was going to win late match, especially when Rollins was setting him up for one more curb stomp. And when Rollins went for his last curb stomp, when he jumped onto Orton's head, Orton stood up and it thrusted Rollins up into the air. And when he came down, Orton caught him in an RKO. It was one of the coolest RKOs I've ever seen. It's possibly the best moment at WrestleMania for me. There's a couple that are up there, but that's definitely right near the top. Because that RKO was one of the coolest things ever. The height he got off of jumping off his head and then coming down and being caught in one fluid motion was really impressive. I pretty much anticipated Orton winning the match. I didn't see him losing after coming back. I thought it would be kind of silly at that point. Because Rollins doesn't really need to be put over at all, so I didn't really see a reason for him to win at WrestleMania. So, I was kind of glad that happened. That's put to rest now. Maybe Orton can get on to maybe getting back into a championship run of some kind. I don't care if it's for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship or if it's for Intercontinental. Just something to get him in there. Get him, toss him a bone. I don't know, something. So, that rivalry's over. It was a pretty cool match. I liked it. Cool moment with the RKO. Next up is Triple H versus Sting. This is probably my second most anticipated match of the night. Reason being, it's kind of an old school WWE versus WCW type of thing. That's kind of how the match actually ended up playing out, which to some extent was very exciting and to some extent was kind of disappointing. I was really hoping it was just going to be a straight fight between Triple H and Sting. Well, let me get this out of the way real quick. Sting had like a traditional Japanese drummer opening and then into his like song when he came out. It was okay. It was, it was a little weird, but whatever. Triple H had a really gimmicky, terrible opening in my opinion. WrestleMania, I believe, was partially sponsored by the new Terminator movie. So when he came out with like a Terminator head helmet and carrying T-100 heads. I didn't get it. It was very strange to me. It seemed to go over well with audience, so whatever. I guess I was the only person. The only thing that I was happy about is he came down to the game music and not his authority music. So that actually had me pretty excited. Anyways, to the match. Match was pretty good. Started off really back and forth. About halfway through the match, DX came down. That would be the Road Dogg, Badass Billy Gunn, and X-Pac came down to the ring. And, they tried to jump Sting and give Triple H the advantage. But then after that, the NWO came down, which was Hogan, Nash, and Hall, which didn't really make sense to me. I thought maybe they were coming down to help Triple H. They came down and they actually beat up DX. Other than that being like a fantasy match of DX versus NWO, I didn't really get it. Sting and NWO never really together. So whatever. I guess I didn't really get it. It didn't feel right to me, but I understood what they're trying to do, the whole WCW versus WWE thing. I get it. Sting went to try and finish out the match. When they cut back to the ring, the other member of DX was there. Shawn Michaels delivers some sweet chin music to Sting. Sting falls down on his bum, and Triple H gets the pin and the win. I predicted Sting to win that. I really don't know what they're going to do with Sting now. I don't know how long his contract is. So unless they plan on doing a rematch down the road or something, I'm really not sure what the point of this whole thing was. Other than maybe to just prove that the WWE was the superior product. I don't know. I really don't. So here's hoping Sting does something else down the road, and it wasn't a one-time WrestleMania thing. Our next match was the Divas tag match of AJ Lee and Paige versus the Bella Twins. I'm kind of hoping this puts an end to that rivalry as well. They've definitely been picking it up in the Divas division. I feel they have been. Give Divas a chance. They're doing a little more with them. They gave them a longer match than I was anticipating them having. It started off very one-sided. AJ Lee was knocked off the apron. Paige had to fight both Bellas for a while. AJ Lee finally got back in it. They beat each other up. It was pretty great. I thought the Bellas were going to take this one. They didn't. They actually had AJ Lee and Paige win. So that's why I said I'm hoping this rivalry is over now, and AJ Lee and Paige can get back into a title hunt. Or maybe they can take this rivalry and turn it into like a fatal four-way for the belt, and, Brie has to fight her sister. Something for the next pay-per-view. But I'm just glad that or at least I'm hoping that I'm glad that the whole rivalry is over. The only thing that I was kind of disappointed about, and it's just me hoping for the crowd just to do weird stuff, I was actually kind of disappointed that there wasn't a giant CM Punk chant when AJ Lee finally did get in the ring. I just enjoy that the fact we're still over a year from when CM Punk left, and the audience is still chanting CM Punk whenever AJ Lee is in the ring. So that was the only thing I was kind of disappointed about. I didn't really hear one. But it was a good match. I enjoyed it. There wasn't anything overly spectacular about it. It's just a good match. So I'm glad they're doing a little bit more with the Divas now. Next up is John Cena versus Rusev. This match, I'm pretty tired of Rusev. This was the match I was really hoping that he was finally going to lose. And quick spoiler on this one, he did. Cena did beat Rusev for the United States Championship in this match. Good. I'm sick of Rusev. He's been beaten. Let's have him do a little return match so he can try and get his belt back or something. I don't care. Hopefully Sheamus is back and he can get into the U.S. title hunt as well, since that's who lost it. I said that last time in my previous reaction, so let's see what happens. The only thing's really kind of cool in this match, Lana came back. She's pretty. I like her, so I'm glad they made up or whatever. Rusev's opening, that's hard to say, Rusev's, I don't know why. Rusev's opening was actually kind of cool. It was done to the Russian national anthem. He had a whole, Russian army carrying the flag and some cannons, and then Rusev came in on a freaking tank. He came in a tank and then came down to the ring. It was pretty dang cool. Cena came out to his regular music. There was a whole, patriotic thing before it about how great America is. I love my country, don't get me wrong, but I'm getting tired of the very easy storyline of, America versus whoever. Some other country. It's always us versus them. Whatever, I get it. It's a very easy story to do, so I understand it. The match itself, I don't feel it was as good as the Fastlane match, so I was a little disappointed about that. But it was good. It was a good match. It was a lot of back and forth. Rusev didn't really do anything out of the ordinary. I think he did a diving headbutt. That was new. Probably the most interesting thing in that match was Cena delivering a second rope stunner, essentially. He jumped onto the second rope, bounced back into the ring and delivered a stunner to Rusev. It was very out of place and very strange, but it was pretty cool to watch. Other than that, I really don't have much to say about the match. I'm glad Rusev lost. We'll see if they do something with his character. Congratulations, John Cena. Let's see how long you hold onto the belt. Next match I'm going to talk about is Bray Wyatt versus The Undertaker. This was probably my most anticipated match of the night. Like I said earlier, Bray Wyatt is one of my favorite, if not my favorite wrestler. It's really tight between him and Daniel Bryan. I've really been looking forward to this match. The build-up has been good, considering it's been a very one-sided rivalry. Basically, Bray Wyatt has had to carry the whole rivalry up to this point. The openings were okay. It was done in an outdoor stadium, and it was still very bright. Bray Wyatt came down with a bunch of scarecrows, like walking like zombies behind him. It would have been a little better if it had been dark. With daylight out, it really didn't, it lost some of its power. Same thing for The Undertaker. The Undertaker had a very simple opening. He just kind of walked down to the ring. They didn't really do anything super special. He had some like gravestones behind him that were like shooting fire. But again, it was so bright out that I think it took a lot away from their entrances. The match itself. The Undertaker looked pretty good. He pretty much owned Wyatt for a majority of the match, which is the opposite of what I wanted. I wanted Bray Wyatt to win. It looked like at a point Bray Wyatt was going to win this match, but Undertaker apparently was too much for him. Undertaker did indeed end up winning this match, which I think to some extent is going to invalidate Bray Wyatt being the new face of fear. I don't really know why they decided to go that route. I don't understand all the build-up just to have Undertaker win, and now he's probably going to go away until next WrestleMania. So now Bray Wyatt's going to be kind of in flux, doing something, which is what they seem to keep doing with him. I think he has a great following, but they don't seem to be sticking anything to him. I don't know. Coolest moment from the match was probably a point where they were fighting, and both got knocked out. At that point, Bray Wyatt went up into his little spider walk and started slowly walking towards The Undertaker. And as he did, Undertaker shot up off the mat in his sit-up thing, and they looked at each other. And The Undertaker kind of stared down Bray Wyatt, and Wyatt flipped over, tried to get him into, I believe it was Sister Abigail at that point, at which point The Undertaker broke out of it, delivered his second Tombstone Piledriver to Bray Wyatt, and won the match. I really was hoping for more. I knew that the hype for it was going to be too much, and it probably wasn't going to live up to my expectations. I'm sure a lot of people enjoyed it, and that's great. The match, unfortunately, just didn't do anything for me. So, here's hoping that they do something cooler with The Undertaker next year, and here's to hoping that they do something with Bray Wyatt. Please do something with Bray Wyatt. Please. And last but not least was the match between Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. I picked Roman Reigns to win this match, mainly because at this point they felt like they were just spoon-feeding him the championship. When they got down to the ring, Lesnar put a beating on him. I mean, a beating almost as bad as what he delivered to John Cena at WrestleMania. Or not WrestleMania, SummerSlam. I'm an idiot. SummerSlam. It was embarrassing. I'll give this to Reigns. He did get up. He did keep fighting. But the match was controlled by Lesnar. There was a point in the match where they went outside the ring and Lesnar was attempting to slam Reigns into the ring post. It got reversed. Lesnar got his head busted open. It was at this point that I was like, okay, here they go. Here's where they go. And here you go, Roman Reigns. Have a championship belt. You haven't really done anything, but have a championship belt. Well, it was shortly after that they got in the ring. He delivered a couple of Superman punches. He delivered a couple of spears. And then all of a sudden some music played. My wife and I kind of stared at each other for a second. We couldn't really place the music. And we were like, oh, that's Seth Rollins. That was the other part of my prediction. I predicted that they were going to have Roman Reigns win. And during his celebration, Rollins was going to come down and cash in Money in the Bank. He cashed it in a little earlier. He cashed it in during the match. So the match became a triple threat match. He proceeded to curb stomp everyone in the ring. After delivering, I believe, 2 curb stomps to Lesnar and then a curb stomp to Roman Reigns, he pins Reigns and wins the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Now, I'm not a huge Seth Rollins fan. I'm not exactly happy that he's the world champion. However, with that being said, I'm glad it's not Roman Reigns. You can hate me if you want. That's fine. I like Roman Reigns. I do not feel he's ready to be our champion. Nor do I feel that Seth Rollins is ready to be our champion. But, having said that, I feel it will create an interesting storyline. Lesnar will be able to get a rematch. I'm sure Reigns will want another chance. I could see Reigns winning it at Extreme Rules next month. I would not be as upset if he won it at Extreme Rules next month. I would love a triple threat match between the 3 of them. I think it would be a fantastic match. I want to see Brock Lesnar destroy both of them. Especially since he's re-signed. He re-signed his contract, so he's going to hang around and do some stuff. What? I don't know. I really don't see them putting him on regular programming. He's going to be still Mr. Pay-Per-View. Sorry, RVD. So he's going to hang around. He's going to do some stuff. I'm hoping it's going to be a Extreme Rules triple threat match at Extreme Rules with Brock Lesnar, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns fighting it out for the championship. I think it'll be good. I think with Lesnar no longer having the belt, it opens up storylines. Granted, I think he could easily take it back if he wanted to. And to be honest, with giving the belt up, after re-signing, I think that was pretty big of him. Considering, I don't know how much money they paid him. They apparently paid him more money than he's going to get at UFC. So, here's looking forward to that. And with all of that being said, my general opinion of WrestleMania. Pretty good. It was a pretty good show. It had a lot of hype build up for it with the Roman Reigns-Lesnar match and then the 2 big matches, in my opinion, of Triple H versus Sting and Bray Wyatt versus Undertaker. 2 huge matches with a lot to live up to. All the matches were pretty good. I don't think they were executed the best. I don't think the venue was the best with it being outside and so bright for all of it. But I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy this WrestleMania. This was definitely a very good pay-per-view. I recommend watching it. So, that's really all I have to say about that, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you guys want to, you can check out my prediction videos leading up to WrestleMania. Or you can rewatch this one. I don't know why you would, but you can rewatch it if you want to. Or you can check out anything else on my channel. So, until next video, this is Adam, signing off.